Yes, it's everybody's favourite time of the day once again. Welcome to Satoshi's Bitcoin Chart Show. This is the Bitcoin forecast, the strength of the system, the health of the network, where we find out what's up with what is going down. Today's date is Saturday, the 10th of May, 2025, the year BSV comes alive. Branch your threads, expand your mind with treechat.ai or your posts put on chain. Right, let's get into it.
Greg says he's Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, and transactions flying free. Just wait for the Tether node, you'll surely see.
Alright, here we go, and this is a chart show especially for Nick. You know who you are, I've been chatting to you this afternoon, explaining what Bitcoin is. So here are the fundamental figures. So we've got Gregcoin at 103,499, and the reason we call it Gregcoin is because this is your mysterious creator of Gregcoin. The term Gregcoin was coined on the 29th of July 2015 when Mike Hearn had an email exchange with Greg Maxwell citing his displeasure about the future that Greg wanted for Bitcoin, and he wanted something that basically didn't work. There was digital dog shit, not many use it, store of crap, which is why you can't use it. And this image here, fantastic image here, tells you exactly what happened and when and at which block. So we can see that a Gregcoin forked at block 481824, where they implemented SegWit, segregating the digital signatures from the transaction data, removing all contractual credibility and therefore economic value, turning BTC into an economically worthless, centrally controlled security offering. And then as we go down, we can see that Bcrash also forked into their CTOR protocol, block 556766. But the Bitcoin, the original Bitcoin, just got the ticker symbol BSV, still intact today. Yours today for just $42. $42. Can you believe it? Yeah, so Bcrash 422, Fisher Price Cash, who cares about that Bitcoin, $42. The original protocol goes right back to the Genesis block. It hasn't changed, making it the real Bitcoin, the true Bitcoin, the genuine Bitcoin, and the world's first and only ever digital commodity. Backed by the value of data sovereignty, making it the most valuable commodity on earth because it's an extension of our own personal freedoms and liberties. Right, let's have a look at some of these figures then. So we'll have a look at the difficulty adjustment on Gregcoin. Look at this. So just dipped away from an all-time high. Miners are going to be absolutely squirming at that. Because the difficulty adjustment just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. Unlike the price, because it's got no demand there. It's just simply pumped by Tether. That's all it is. Let's look at the hash rate on Bitcoin and Bcrash. Compare the two. So Bcrash kind of like going up and down there, but fairly level. But Bitcoin, solid as a rock there. Steady as you like. And yes, indeed, we do like that. So there you go. That's hash rate. So let's have a look at network nodes. So for anybody who hasn't seen a network node before, these are they. This is the backbone to the new global financial system, the world's first ever commercial, commoditized digital network designed for commerce and global payments. But look at these mining operations. Look, all this stemmed from just one 9-page white paper. It's absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal is what it is. Just incredible. Incredible. Let's have a look at transactions then. So transactions on Bitcoin, that's down. So again, we saw this the other day at 152 million transactions in 24 hours. It's just the testing has obviously tailed off, but all prepped for Terra node, like it is coming. So even though transactions here are just 8.94, overall, so 30,001 transactions over the last 24 hours, representing 1.1% of the market. But again, this is usually around 60, 70, 80, 90% of the market, and we'll certainly see that when Terra node comes on. Just cross-reference that with what's on chain. Yep, 32,154 transactions over the last 24 hours. But that's just doubled just recently, so that will be going up very soon. There we go. Block size. So again, look at that. So the way this chart works is that block size is the amount of data flowing up onto the network, and that's what this is. It is a digital network for data storage. So the data is uploaded via the transactions. The transactions are processed by the nodes that create blocks and supply the hash rate. And the hash rate is attracted to the value, which is meant to be represented by the price. But the price is currently speculative because no one knows what Bitcoin really is. And the price is also manipulated by Tether. But when education catches up with speculation, you can guarantee that the speculative prices will soon start to match their fundamental values. Yes, indeed, which means Gregcoin, Bcrash, Fisher Price Cash, all going to zero very quickly, unfortunately. It's inevitable. It's a zero-sum game for them. Let's have a look at the sum of the block sizes coming through then. These still look pretty good when you consider that Gregcoin has got a 1 megabyte block size. The biggest block they've got, they've got a 3.4 megabyte block. Well done them. But the biggest block here, 50 megabytes in one block. 50 megabytes in one block, and again, we're used to seeing 100 megabyte blocks, half gigabyte blocks, gigabyte blocks. In fact, I think the largest one is 4 gigabytes, and a gigabyte is 1,000 megabytes. Yeah, absolutely huge. Hash rate here. So hash rate follows price, follows value, follows utility, follows creativity, initiative, and intelligence. If you are intelligent and you apply creativity and initiative, you can make something useful. If something is useful, it can then create value. When it creates value, it can then develop a price. When it develops a price, it can then be measured against the cost of other goods and services and used as a medium of exchange. If something is useful, it's valuable. If something is useless, it's worthless. It's that simple. You really don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure it out. Proof of work by network again, so this is very misguiding because the proof of work should follow the longest chain, but again the longest chain is the chain with the most data on it, but because the miners are just currently chasing price and not the utility that's on the chain, because the entire network is manipulated by Tether, we've got proof of work on Gregcoin at the moment, but when utility comes on chain, it will all flood over onto genuine Bitcoin, which is in red here, which is Bitcoin SV. So it's currently 59,217 times cheaper to transact on Bitcoin than Gregcoin. You're mining Bitcoin at a 8.4% comparable loss. That's comparable to mining on Gregcoin. It's 13.9% more profitable to mine on Fisher Price Cash. And 0.8% more profitable to mine on Bcrash over Gregcoin. But again, profitability moves very quickly with price and hash rate and all that kind of stuff. But again, when utility comes on the market, it's all going to flood over onto genuine Bitcoin, which is BSV. Daily average Bitcoin block size by network. Again, block size just tailing off there on the log curve though, but Bitcoin's still winning. Daily Bitcoin transactions by network on the log curve. Again, Bitcoin's still winning, the tests are finished. But on the log curve, when Terra node comes on, it's going to go absolutely crazy. Daily average Bitcoin transactions per block by network. So again, this is transactions by network and per block by network. Much of a muchness. Daily average fees to by network, or daily average Bitcoin fees by network USD. So this is fees as in like the cost per transaction. So this is costs in USD measurements. So you can see it's been sub-cent fees to transact on Bitcoin. This is fees measured in Satoshis. So again, Bitcoin's still winning here because it's below all these other coins at the top. Daily Bitcoin fee to block reward ratio. So as the block reward continues to get cut in half every 210,000 blocks, what we need is the block fee, represented by the red line here, to surpass the block reward, and then we have an economically self-sustaining system, which is what we're gunning for. So when Terra node comes on the network, you'll see this red line starting to almost go vertical, parabolic going on, which will be amazing. daily accumulated Bitcoin blockchain growth by network. So the only chart you really need to see what's going on in the future. This represents the length of the chain. And as Satoshi Nakamoto said, it is strictly necessary that the longest chain is always considered the valid one. And the longest chain here is the one with the most data on it, which is the one in red, which is genuine Bitcoin BSV. This is global hash rate 7 days, global hash rate 24 hours. Gradecoin hash rate here, so we can see that other miners have got 11.81% of the hash rate on there, just managing the profitability very carefully. Bcrash, other miners, 54.17 on there. Fisher Price Cash, who cares? But then we got Bitcoin. Again, we'll have to cross-reference this with what's on chain, because CoinDance doesn't actually like showing us what's really going on. So here we go. That's the mining. So we can see Tal that's got 33.7, Kuv 28.9, QD Link 20.69, SA100 11.03, Gorilla Pool losing out a bit 4.8, and then a Mining Dutch trying to get a look in at 0.69. So CoinDance not showing you that at all. This just shows you where the transactions are coming from. My 2 cents, 10,000 transactions. DXS app 2,100. Bitcoin 1,700. Op return. So it's Op return that has had millions of transactions recently on it. Great stuff. Let's have a look at crypto quant. So the purple line here is the exchange's reserves. So these are the reserves that the exchanges hold for their own profits and for the purposes of allowing their customers to cash out. So whenever they want to cash out a shitcoin, for example, they will convert that shitcoin into BTC, and they will convert the BTC into filthy fiat currency and send them the fiat currency. Now, this is not the market. This is the reserves that the exchanges hold in reserve for their own profit. So when the exchanges are cashing out, as you can see here, hand over fist, you know that something is wrong because they're cashing out even when the price is going up. So this indicates that they know what's coming and they are getting rid of their reserves. Again, it's the retail mom and pop investors that are going to get absolutely screwed when they see this. Look at this, the Tether weather. Look at this, they can't resist it, can they? Look, they've just pumped the market again. So it's gone from a low of 149.7 to 149.85, so 150 million. 150 million they've literally just pumped in a second ago. Let's see what that looks like on the week. Gone from 149.2 to 149.8, so that's 600 million. 600 million in a week. What's this been on the month? 144.2, 149.8. So 5 billion. Look at that. 5 billion, or over 5 billion. 5 billion in a month. In a month, 144 to 149 billion. You know, people wonder where the shitcoin market has got a market capitalization from. Well, they literally make Tether up from nothing, as we've seen here. Look, just boom, gone up. And they're just pumping the shitcoin market. Got to keep the scam going. And look at that. So Tether started out with a market cap of just 251,000. 251,000, and now they're trying to tell everybody that they've got $149 billion in cash reserves. I'm calling absolute BS on that one. They just make it up from nothing. Let's have a look at money. So this is the only stable coin that's actually literally backed 1-to-1 with US dollar and running on the most secure digital network the world has ever seen, which is a genuine Bitcoin on BSV. So we had like what, $10 million market cap. It's now 24 million. That shows consistent growth, because if you want to transact US dollar, this is the most secure digital network to do it on. Your funds can't be stopped or frozen or deleted or anything like that. So really the entire world needs to be running on the Bitcoin network, and this is what we need, the US dollar on it. So the banks can't confiscate it, can't delete it from your wallet, nothing. We can act in the private, which is what we want. Let's have a look at Bitfinex then. So the short ratios, this is interesting, just gives you an indication of the confidence in the market. So this green line are the longs. So look at that, a long's almost like dropping off a cliff there. Interesting, just dipping slowly though, but dipping. This means that confidence is being eroded away. But the short ratio is still huge, it's less than 1%, 0.44. Let's have a look at coin codex for these exchanges trading in Bitcoin. Binance Futures 12.5, OKX 2.4, Gate.io 2.2, MEXC 1.1, Upbit 4.2, that's pretty good. Indox, that's not correct. Poloniex 9 million. Huobi 7.3, we'll have a look at that. In fact, we'll look at all these as we're going through them. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at Upbit, see what that looks like. Looks like it's in Korean. Oh dear. Choose your Upbit country. Yeah, none of those. Oh dear. Huobi then. Yeah, 24-hour trade volume of genuine Bitcoin, $7.2 million. Gate.io, 24-hour turnover, 2.2 million. That's pretty good for them. That's really good. Qcoin, where we've had some funny increases in the price of Bitcoin. Look at that. Look at that. That was crazy. Yeah, it went up to like $60. $60. Look at that. Any other crazy spikes? Look at that. That went up to almost $70. $65 it went up to on Qcoin. Just simply shows you the price trying to break out. You know, complete and utter manipulation now on the markets. But $15 million trade volume on Qcoin for genuine Bitcoin. OKX saying they've got a 50. Oh no, that's 55,000. Jeebus, really dropped off there on OKX. Yeah, saying it's got $2.4 million there, but not showing here at all. Zidixion, again, their trade volume is just 91,000. Tiny amounts. Tiny amounts. All right, let's have a look at the charts then here. Bitcoin versus Gregcoin. Looks like it's actually trending up. Look at that. So since the 8th of May, so for the last 2 days, it's actually been trending upwards over Gregcoin, which is great. That'll be why they've just pumped Tether into the market to try and prevent traders looking elsewhere for gains, as it were. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at Bitcoin USD. Look at there, trending up nicely there. Very good. Started with a low of around $35 and at $41. Very good. Just cross-reference that with the Orange Gateway. So this is the Mac Daddy Gregcoin. So Gregcoin has also been going up, but this just means that Bitcoin has actually been outperforming it, which is pretty great. Yeah, since the 8th of May, steady upward trend there. Let's have a look at Bitcoin versus Gregcoin. Look, yeah, trending upwards over the last day or two. That'll be why they've been pumping Tether into the market. Interesting. Check this out though, the Satoshi Observer. So Gregcoin, a market price of $103,000. Average transaction fee $1.55. And remember, it's meant to be a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Current transactions per second, 4. And they reckon that Gregcoin has been going since 2009. 14 years. So you've got a cash system that's been going 14 years. And it's only doing 4 transactions per second. Even though it's worldwide. And you can't even buy coffee with it because the average transaction fee is $1.55. Absolutely crazy. But genuine Bitcoin here, market price $42. Look at the average transaction fee. So sub cent, that's a tenth. So 400th of a cent Current TPS just 0.34. But again, we've seen that absolutely smashed recently. There was 1,700 transactions per second. No other blockchain can touch it. And BCH, again, a market price, look at that, 423. It's like 10x on genuine Bitcoin. Average fee, more than half a cent. Current TPS, 0.17. Good grief. So it's like one transaction every 5 seconds. At least we've got one transaction every 3 seconds at the moment, but it's unusual for a genuine Bitcoin to be that low. Overall market cap, $3.2 trillion. $3.2 trillion of complete fraud. Complete fraud. Look at this. The 24-hour trade volume. The volume cap is just 1.08% of the market cap. Again, a healthy market should have a 24-hour trade volume of around 5%. So this means literally you only need 1% of the market to have a little bit of a wobble with their confidence, and literally the whole thing gets wiped out. Whole thing that's not very strong at all. So $22 billion worth of 24-hour trade volume. Just been trending sideways today. Slightly up on the week. Let's have a look at the rest of the coins here. Ethereum back up to $2,490. XRP slipping below a USDT in terms of market cap. It's not really ever going to go anywhere though. Honestly, when you realize what you're looking at here, you're literally just looking at NFT tokens that do nothing because they're all on securitized, centrally controlled networks. Absolutely insane, but that's why they call it the shitcoin market. And this is why all the graphs look the same, because the coins do nothing but the same thing. They're all Ponzi schemes. Every single one. Look, they even had the audacity to name a coin Fart Coin and Ponzi Coin. It just simply goes to show you, like, literally how utter contempt those who create the market have for the intelligence of those people who like it and buy it and try to trade on it. Absolutely ridiculous. But genuine Bitcoin here, just $41.94. Trending sideways there over 24 hours, but up on the week's looking pretty good. The breakdown here, so they're saying that the largest amount of 24-hour trade volume is on CoinDCX, Huobi in second, OKX in third, CoinX in fourth, Gate.io in fifth maybe, and then MEXC I think in sixth or fifth, yeah, and then the others. Interesting. Liquidity though, where is that? Is this changing? Changelly Pro with the most liquidity. Hit BTC in second. Pinex in third. XGo Exchange in fourth. OKX in fifth. Hybit. And then Zedixia in terms of liquidity. That's kind of interesting. Wasn't expecting that. Very good. Right, there we go. That is a 22-minute show. So I hope you enjoyed it. So as ever, if you enjoyed these updates, please ding your donations for your appreciation to either Satoshi at sendme.com, handcash.io, rockwallet.me, simply.cash, related.com, or senti.ch. We'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed it. As ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.
2 years ago, you got SegWit, which we lied and cheated and stealed, and I was part of the lying and cheating and stealing to get SegWit, to get Lightning, which, by the way, had critical vulnerabilities and lost people's money.
The king still has one more move.